Ronda Rousey. She finally peeled back the curtain on her retirement. On an Instagram live stream, Rousey stated, quote, "My concussion history that I had to keep secret for years so I would be able to continue to compete and perform. That's basically why I had to retire," end quote.
Ronda Rousey drops a bombshell to the UFC as speculation reaches fever pitch about her potential involvement in the historic White House card. Ronda Rousey sparks UFC return rumors ahead of White House card. The Queen is back. But hold on. Before you get your hopes up, there's much more to this story than meets the eye. We're about to separate fact from fiction in what could be the biggest MMA story of the year.
He has been described as the world's most dominant athlete, knocking out barriers and setting records. In her new memoir, Our Fight, UFC and WWE champion Ronda Rousey chronicles her journey to the top and back from her lowest point as she reflects on the losses and the lessons experienced along the way. And joining us now is UFC Hall of Famer.
It all began with a simple Instagram post. 6 months after welcoming her second daughter, 38-year-old Ronda Rousey uploaded training footage that immediately set the MMA world ablaze. The video shows the former UFC champion back in the cage, displaying the judo skills that once made her the most dominant female fighter on the planet. Martial art nerd S.A. Rousey captioned the video, but fans read between the lines. Comments flooded in. "I'd like to see this woman back in the UFC," one fan wrote. "The Queen is back," declared another. The timing couldn't be more perfect, or suspicious. Adding fuel to the fire, current UFC bantamweight Luana Santos posted photos training alongside Rousey, writing, "From dream to reality, next to the woman who made me start MMA. I love you, Ronda Rousey."
Rousey is currently promoting her soon-to-be-released new book, Our Fight. Guys, does this change anything about how you viewed her exit from MMA all of these years? Mike Bond, we go to you.
Yes and no, I guess. Like, do I feel like this contributed to her getting her head kicked off her shoulders by Holly Holm or brutally knocked out by Amanda Nunes? Not really. I mean, if you look at it in like hindsight, the skill sets, obviously the greatness of Nunes, Holm's kicking ability, like that would have happened if she had an iron chin or if she was more vulnerable to a knockout.
But here's what we know. Rousey has been training at Syndicate MMA in Las Vegas with Ramona Pascal. Santos's manager, Lucas Lutkus, confirmed that Santos simply asked to join a session to meet her idol. The question everyone's asking, is this just fitness training or something more? The timing of these training videos has everything to do with President Donald Trump's historic announcement. In July, Trump revealed plans for an unprecedented UFC event at the White House in July 2026, celebrating America's 250th birthday.
We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little, we're not, Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. We're going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events. But the UFC fight's going to be a big deal.
Dana White has confirmed this will be an invitation-only, ultra-exclusive event with stringent security measures. Early speculation suggested dream matchups like Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall, with rumors of Conor McGregor's involvement. But could Ronda Rousey be the surprise headliner that nobody saw coming? The logistics alone would be staggering. Imagine the first-ever UFC event at the White House, with the most recognizable female fighter in MMA history making her comeback after nearly a decade away. It would be the ultimate redemption story, if it were true. But here's where the story takes a dramatic turn, and Rousey's warning becomes crystal clear. Now comes the sobering truth that every fight fan needs to hear. In August 2024, Ronda Rousey delivered a devastating blow to comeback hopes when she explicitly stated, "I'm just not neurologically fit to compete anymore at the highest level. I just can't."
It's not happening. I'm just not neurologically fit to compete anymore at the highest level. I just can't. You just get to a level where...
This isn't just about being out of practice. Rousey revealed frightening details about her neurological condition. "When I got into MMA, I had already had dozens of concussions that I trained through. Like, not even stopped for. So that was about a decade of having concussion symptoms more often than not." The former champion described terrifying symptoms. "I would get a jab and I would go blind." She explained how neurological injuries accumulate over time and don't get better. A family history of epilepsy has exacerbated the damage from years of combat sports.
Neurological injuries you take accumulate over time. They don't get better. And when I got into MMA, I had already had dozens of concussions that I'd trained through, like not even stopped for.
Oh, wow.
So that was like, about a decade of having concussion symptoms more often than not. And so when I got into MMA, it was really, I was playing a game of zero errors. And then it got to the point where I was, fighting more often than anybody. I had more outside of fighting responsibilities. And
With assistance from Dana White, Rousey participated in a long-term fighter's neurological study at the Cleveland Clinic. The diagnosis was clear. The accumulation of head trauma from her judo career through her MMA days has left lasting damage. You just get to a level where the neurological injuries you take accumulate over time. They don't get better, Rousey explained. This is her warning to the UFC and to fans. The comeback everyone wants simply cannot happen.
you just get to a level where, the neurological injuries you take accumulate over time. They don't get better.
So what is Ronda Rousey actually doing? The training videos that sparked comeback rumors are part of her postpartum recovery after welcoming daughter Liko'ula Powomahina Kaipiha Brown in January. It's been a blast finding joy in training again. I missed it. My body missed it, Rousey wrote. She credits MMA training for helping her feel healthier than after her first pregnancy, when she only did gym workouts. But make no mistake, this is about fitness and potentially professional wrestling, not preparing for the Octagon. Since her last UFC fight in December 2016 against Amanda Nunes, Rousey transitioned to WWE until 2023 and has since focused on family life on a farm with husband Travis Brown and their 2 daughters.
And you see Amanda Nunes come in, and I watched that fight, and I'm looking at the capabilities that Amanda had versus what Ronda.
Well, what happened with Ronda was very unique in that she came in and put this thing on the world stage. This thing being women fighting.
Women fighting, yeah.
She put it on the world stage.
Correct.
Right? At a level that nobody else could have ever done it. And while she was doing what she was doing, building the sport and the UFC and women, all these other women were training to be her. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The speculation around Rousey highlights something crucial about combat sports, the fine line between comeback dreams and harsh medical realities. While fans clamor for the return of their heroes, fighters like Rousey are making difficult but necessary decisions about their long-term health. As for the White House card, expect to see Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall, and possibly Conor McGregor instead. Tonight's story serves as a reminder that behind every great fighter is a human being making tough choices about their future. Ronda Rousey's warning is clear. She's not neurologically fit to compete at the highest level anymore. While the Queen may be back in training, she won't be back in the Octagon. Sometimes the bravest fight is knowing when not to fight at all. That's our report for tonight. Stay tuned for more breaking MMA news. And remember, in the fight game, the most important victory is going home healthy. Meteoric rise of Bella Mir, daughter of UFC legend Frank Mir, who just delivered a devastating chicken wing submission that has everyone asking, could she be the next Dakota Ditcheva?
Using that elbow to frame her out and keep distance where she can create some space and let her hands go in this clinch range.
Javier looking out of her element here. She's hurt to the body. That's it.
The end of the fight? Rich Mitchell waves it off the knee.
At 22 years old, Mir stayed undefeated with a first-round submission at Fury FC's Challenger Series 14. But this isn't just another prospect story. This is about legacy, Olympic dreams, and a young woman juggling 3 combat sports. Sunday night in Houston, Bella Mir versus Stephanie Stone Cold Calderon. After brief striking exchanges, Mir shot for her signature takedown and dominated. Once on the ground, Mir advanced to mount, forced a scramble, took the back, and locked in what she called a chicken wing, a one-armed kimura that forced the tap at 358. That's folk-style wrestling right there. That's a chicken wing. Now, the Dakota Ditcheva comparison everyone's making, the parallels are striking. Both young, undefeated, marketable fighters, but Bella has key advantages.
Dakota Ditcheva, right hand in the hand of fate.
Feel like I'm going to be one of the targets this year, coming in with an undefeated record. I've just won the European title.
Do it! Dakota Ditcheva with the third round finish!
The name recognition. Frank Mir's legacy opens doors. Second, more complete skill set. Elite grappling with improving striking. Third, better storylines. Olympic dreams, family legacy, UFC's first NIL athlete. Dakota rushed into high-level competition. Bella's building methodically across 3 combat sports. That patience could be the difference between a shooting star and a superstar.
Win each fight to get to the top. I'm looking forward to bringing this title home.
What makes Bella truly special? Success across 3 combat sports simultaneously. Wrestling. After transferring from Iowa to North Central College, she reached the NCAA finals at 145 pounds and is targeting the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. Jiu-Jitsu. World champion at blue belt level, and recently submitted Carol Joya at UFC BJJ 1.
Without further ado, though, let us say hello to the former UFC heavyweight champion and a future potential UFC champion, his daughter, Bella Mir. We've got Frank Mir and Bella Mir here. How exciting is this? This is unbelievable. Hello, guys. Thank you so much. Frank, it's great to see you. And we've obviously talked a million times over the years. Now to do it with your daughter, who's turning into a future star in her own right, this is pretty damn cool. So congratulations to you, Frank, first and foremost, on everything that you're doing with Bella as of late.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, I think it's every father's dream to make sure that his child finds something that they love and can, and also, you know, make a living doing it. So like, just it's definitely a dream come true for me. Not that I want her to do this, but she's doing something she loves. She's good at it and is able to, you know, take care of herself with it.
Perfect 4-0 record with all submissions. Most fighters struggle with one discipline. Bella's excelling at 3 while planning for the Olympics. That's exceptional. Bella isn't just any prospect. She has direct access to Dana White as the UFC's first NIL athlete.
I wasn't allowed to compete in my first ever jiu-jitsu tournament till I was a green belt because my dad was like freaking out, like, your name, they're gonna try to rip your arm off. When I wrestled boys in middle school, like how would have guys that were in high school and dropped down to middle school division just to try to beat me up. I'm honestly used to it just because of my last name, and my dad's been really good preparing me for that like my whole life.
Dana and I have such a close relationship, and I know he's going to advise what's best for me. The timeline dilemma. Jump to UFC now or wait until after 2028 Olympics. If she makes the Olympic team, especially in Los Angeles, she'd enter the UFC with more mainstream recognition than any women's MMA prospect in history.
How long till she's in the UFC, do you think?
If she wanted to be there right now, she could have been already back in July. But we held off because she was 17 at the time. And she had 2 pro fights. And I just want to take our time. And right now, she probably would jump into it now, but I want her. She wants to follow a college career. She's a national champion in wrestling. She's an All-American, 4 or 5 times over, multiple times, 4. She could have been a 5-time state champion because she won in 8th grade, but COVID took her one of the years away from everybody.
And the storylines get better. Remember Frank Mir's rivalry with Brock Lesnar? Bella wants to settle the score with Lesnar's daughter, Maya.
And that's funny you say that about Maya Lesnar. The amount of people that have asked me if I want to fight her and do the Brock Lesnar Frank Mir trilogy, but in daughter form. I'm like, man, if Dana ever, I know Dana would 100% promote that if Maya was fighting. So yeah, if Maya Lesnar, if you're ever hearing this, you should train and we could just like have a little fight because that would be awesome. I mean, who wouldn't want to see that?
So if Maya Lesnar, if you're ever hearing this, you should train and we could just have a little fight. That would be awesome. Frank beat Lesnar by knee bar. Lesnar got revenge at UFC 100. Their daughter's settling the trilogy. Dana White would break the bank for that.
And then I was backstage getting ready for the fight. One of the other fighters on the card goes, "Hey man, you got to do this. It's it's MMA versus pro wrestling." "Oh, you think he's a pro wrestler?" Like, the dude's a national champion wrestler. So then that actually put a lot of pressure on me because I'm sitting there going, people are going to think that he's just a pro wrestler? Like, no, give me anybody else. Most of the other pro wrestlers don't have a background in combat. That was upsetting. And so I was really focused to take him out.
Let's pump the brakes for a reality check. There are legitimate challenges ahead. First, injury history. Multiple injuries at Iowa forced her transfer. Managing 3 combat sports increases risk exponentially. Second, competition level. Her 4-0 record is impressive, but she hasn't faced top-tier MMA competition. The jump to UFC level is massive. Third, the pressure, carrying the Mir name, being UFC's first NIL athlete. Based on what we've seen, Bella's showing diamond qualities. So, is Bella Mir the next Dakota Ditcheva? She might be something better, a more complete athlete with stronger storylines and institutional support. The numbers: 4-0 in MMA, NCAA finals, world champion in jiu-jitsu, Olympic aspirations, direct UFC access. That's not a prospect, that's a phenomenon in development. The question isn't whether Bella will make the UFC, it's whether the UFC is ready for Bella Mir.
Honestly, like if I had to be like super realistic, I feel like I'll have like a couple prelim fights for the UFC, and then once 2028 comes around, then I'll be like, okay, like is it okay if I don't fight just this year for 2028? I feel like I could see that happening, or I could see it happening just wrestling and doing jiu-jitsu and just fighting on UFC Fight Pass, and then signing with the UFC right after 2028. It's also Dana's call. I have meetings with him a lot, like what my future looks like and what he wants me to do. And he pushes college wrestling a lot, and he also pushes 2028. He wants me to go down that route too. So it's just a lot of talking like with people close to me and what's best.
John, you might know this. You might be the first active UFC fighter to compete in the Olympics then, rather than the other way around.
Probably. Yeah, because Sarah McMahon waited till after. So did Henry, and so did Kayla.
That's why Dana's pushing it. He wants to see that.
I mean, now that you say that, because I never thought about that, now I want to do that because I'm always trying to just push myself. So thank you for that. Now I'm going to actually do that.
Whether she takes Dakota's path of rapid ascension or the Olympic route, when Bella commits fully to MMA, the entire women's division will shift. What do you think? Is Bella destined for superstardom? Let us know below and subscribe for more MMA analysis. I'm Tyne, and we'll see you next time. Tonight we bring you breaking news from the world of mixed martial arts. Dakota Ditcheva is ready for a super fight against Valentina Shevchenko, and she's calling it history-making.
Dakota Ditcheva just reminded the MMA world who's queen of the PFL. At PFL Africa, the undefeated British flyweight star extended her record to a flawless 15-0, dominating Sumiko Inaba in Cape Town with a brutal display of Muay Thai. Elbows, knees, and body kicks. She put on a clinic, even while dealing with what she later revealed could be a broken left hand. Despite the injury, Dakota pushed through and earned a lopsided decision, win 30-27. 30-27, and even a 30-24. Pure dominance. But here's the real headline. Dakota has officially re-signed with the PFL. With Kyla Harrison gone to the UFC, Dakota is now the face of the promotion's women's division. And she's not slowing down. She wants to go 30-0, maybe even retire undefeated. She's got her eyes on a stadium fight at Manchester City's Etihad, Pep Guardiola in her corner, and yes, she said that with a straight face. Dakota Ditcheva isn't just chasing belts, she's chasing legacy. Follow MMA Pulse for more on the rise of the PFL's biggest star.
The PFL sensation has just made her highly anticipated return to the Octagon after an 8-month layoff. And she's got her sights set on the biggest fight in women's MMA. Stay with us as we break down her dominant performance, her frustrations with finding worthy opponents, and why this potential super fight could change everything. I'm Euster, and this is your MMA Update.
Bullet is the undisputed queen of flyweight MMA.
Let's start with the headline that's got everyone talking. Dakota Ditcheva, the 27-year-old PFL flyweight champion, has officially thrown down the gauntlet for a cross-promotional super fight with UFC legend Valentina Shevchenko.
Good. I mean, I listened to so many people talking like throughout this whole tournament. It's nice to...
And she's not wrong about the history part, folks. This would be one of the biggest cross-promotional fights in women's MMA history. Ditcheva has been absolutely dominant in the PFL, while Shevchenko has long been considered the queen of the UFC's flyweight division. But here's the question everyone's asking. Will this fight actually happen? Cross-promotional politics have killed dream matchups before, but with Ditcheva's rising star power and fan demand growing louder, this could be the super fight that finally breaks through.
The planet right now, fantastic strikers, veterans, future legends of the game here.
For sure.
Santos
is in big trouble. She's in big trouble. Dakota Ditcheva to the body again for a championship.
Before we get ahead of ourselves with super fight talk, let's discuss why Ditcheva earned the right to make these call-outs. This past weekend in Cape Town, South Africa, she made her long-awaited return to the cage after 8 months away Champion Series. Ditcheva put on what can only be described as a Muay Thai clinic. Round after round, she dominated with crushing knees from the clinch, precise striking, and superior fight IQ.
Against defense with body shots. Combination again, punching her way out of these clinches. Inaba not able to match speed on the outside. Crashing in again. A beautiful knee. Oh, the clinch is really working for Ditcheva. She gets the turn, another knee finds its way to the face of Sumiko Inaba, and an elbow from Dakota. Inaba can't take a lot of those knees.
Round 1 saw Ditcheva establish her clinch game early. Round 2, that's where she really took over, rocking Inaba with a devastating knee that had the crowd on their feet. By round 3, it was complete domination until disaster struck. I think I injured my left hand. I think I'm gutted because I've been out for so long, and then I'm injured again, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, a tearful Ditcheva said after the fight. Despite fighting with what she believed was a broken hand, Ditcheva never looked in real danger, extending her perfect record to 15-0. But this injury concern adds another layer to her already complicated situation.
Dakota Ditcheva just reminded the MMA world who's queen of the PFL. At PFL Africa, the undefeated British flyweight star extended her record to a flawless 15-0, dominating Sumiko Inaba in Cape Town with a brutal display of Muay Thai. Elbows, knees, and body kicks. She put on a clinic, even while dealing with what she later revealed could be a broken left hand. Despite the injury, Dakota pushed through and earned a lopsided decision, win 30-27, 30-27, and even a 30-24. Pure dominance. But here's the real headline. Dakota has officially re-signed with the PFL. With Kyla Harrison gone to the UFC, Dakota is now the face of the promotion's women's division. And she's not slowing down. She wants to go 30-0, maybe even retire undefeated. She's got her eyes on a stadium fight at Manchester City's Etihad, Pep Guardiola in her corner, and yes, she said that with a straight face. Dakota Ditcheva isn't just chasing belts, she's chasing legacy. Follow MMA Pulse for more on the rise of the PFL's biggest star.
Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, Dakota Ditcheva's 8-month layoff. This wasn't by choice, folks. The harsh reality? She ran out of challengers. After absolutely demolishing the PFL flyweight tournament in 2024, 4 straight stoppages including victories over Chelsea Hackett, Jenna Bishop, and former UFC contender Taylor Santos in the final, Ditcheva found herself in an unusual position for a world champion.
Against defense with body shots. Combination again, punching her way out of these clinches. Inaba not able to match speed on the outside. Crashing in again. A beautiful knee. Oh, the clinch is really working for Ditcheva. She gets the turn, another knee finds its way to the face of Sumiko Inaba, and an elbow from Dakota. Inaba can't take a lot of those knees.
Obviously, with me walking through them last year, it's made it difficult, Ditcheva explained. Santos was the top girl in the division, and the fact I walk through her so easily is another thing which made this year so difficult. Think about this. She knocked out Jenna Bishop in the first round last August. This year, Bishop made it to the flyweight tournament finals. That's the level of competition Ditcheva has already surpassed. But here's the kicker. She's locked into a PFL contract, so she can't just jump ship to find better competition. It's a champion's problem that most fighters would love to have, but it's a real problem nonetheless. The good news? Ditcheva just re-signed with PFL, and they're committed to finding her the fights she deserves. As she told the incredible Cape Town crowd, "I have just re-signed with PFL. We've come to a great agreement, and I'm going to look forward to the next few years together." So where does Dakota Ditcheva go from here? At just 27 years old, she's entering her prime with nowhere to go but up, literally. The super fight with Shevchenko remains the dream scenario, but realistically, Ditcheva might need to consider moving up in weight. The bantamweight division offers fresh challenges and bigger names. Speaking of big names, it's worth noting that legends like Amanda Nunes, Chris Cyborg, and Joanna Jedrzejczyk all congratulated Ditcheva after her world title win. That's the respect she's already earned from the sport's elite. The MMA community is taking notice. Her striking is elite level, her finishing ability is undeniable, and she's got the personality to carry major fights. The question isn't whether she deserves big fights, it's whether the politics of the sport will allow them to happen. First things first though, she needs that hand to heal. Fighting through injury shows heart, but staying healthy is crucial for a fighter with her potential. Dakota Ditcheva's story is far from over. At 15-0 with 12 knockouts, she's proven she's ready for the biggest fights in women's MMA. Whether that's Valentina Shevchenko, a move up to bantamweight, or defending her flyweight crown against new challengers, one thing is certain, the MMA world is watching. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, your handle, for more breaking MMA news and analysis. What do you think? Should the UFC make the Shevchenko super fight happen? Let us know in the comments.
For me, there's a first place and then everyone else lost. For me, that's my mindset. I want to finish 30-0, 60-0. It's been done. Like, you don't have to lose. I just take things one at a time. You know, I've done that my whole career. I've never looked like too far ahead. Once I get in that cage, there's just a switch that happens. Every opponent I fight will try to strike and then try and take me down.
We don't have the damage so far in this fight. It's been one-way traffic. Oh, nasty knee right the middle from Dakota. And a flurry down to the body. Here's the elbow.
Dakota Ditcheva, the 26-year-old English phenom, has just extended her perfect professional record to 15-0 with a dominant unanimous decision victory over Sumiko Inaba at PFL Africa in Cape Town, South Africa. But that's not the story everyone's talking about tonight.
I mean, I have just re-signed with PFL. We've come to a great agreement and I'm going to look forward to the next few years together, so hopefully we can carry on.
In a post-fight announcement that caught the entire MMA world off guard, Ditcheva revealed she has re-signed with the Professional Fighters League. A decision that has left fans stunned and asking one crucial question: why would the most sought-after female fighter outside the UFC choose to stay put? The answer, as you'll hear tonight, will absolutely leave you speechless.
They do see me as the top girl in PFL, especially now I've beat Santos. You know, everyone thought she beat UFC world champion Valentina, so everyone's kind of a little bit like, before that fight, it was like, how good is really Dakota? You know, like, she's not fought anyone type thing. And then when I beat her, now it's like, oh, well, who are you going to give her now?
Sit up, yeah.
Let's start with what happened inside the cage at PFL Africa. Dakota Ditcheva entered this fight after an 8-month layoff, the longest period of inactivity since joining the PFL. Facing Bellator veteran Sumiko Inaba, who came in with an 8-1 record, Ditcheva was looking to maintain her perfect finishing streak.
She's the face of PFL. If I take out the face of PFL, am I the face of PFL?
What we witnessed was nothing short of a Muay Thai masterclass. Ditcheva dominated all 3 rounds with her signature 8-limbed attack, utilizing devastating knees, sharp elbows, and precise striking combinations. The judges scored it 30-27 across the board, with one judge even giving it 30-24. However, there was a bittersweet element to this victory. For the first time since March 2022, Ditcheva was pushed to a decision, ending her incredible 9-fight finishing streak. But perhaps more concerning was what happened post-fight.
Oh, Dakota Ditcheva with the finish!
In an emotional moment that showed her vulnerability, Ditcheva broke down in tears during her interview, revealing she had suffered a hand injury during the bout. "I think I've injured my left hand," she said through tears. "I'm more gutted because I've been out for so long, and I've come back and I'm injured again."
Yeah, I think I've injured my left hand, but I think I'm just more gutted because I've been out for so long and then I've come back and I'm injured.
Despite the injury concern, Ditcheva's performance was dominant from start to finish, cementing her status as one of the most technically proficient strikers in women's MMA today. But then came the announcement that nobody saw coming. Standing in the cage with her hand potentially injured and emotions running high, Dakota Ditcheva dropped a bombshell that sent the MMA community into a frenzy. "I have just re-signed with PFL," Ditcheva announced to the stunned crowd. "We've come to a great agreement, and I'm going to look forward to the next few years together."
I mean, I have just re-signed with PFL. We've come to a great agreement, and I'm going to look forward to the next few years together. So hopefully we can carry on bringing crowds like this, because you guys really set a standard. So congratulations, guys.
To understand why this is so shocking, you need to know the context. After Ditcheva's dominant 2024 campaign, where she went 4-0 with 4 knockouts and captured the PFL Flyweight Championship, she was widely regarded as the best female fighter not competing in the UFC. Fans had been fantasy matchmaking her with UFC stars like Valentina Shevchenko, Alexa Grasso, and Natalia Silva for months.
Bringing out something ancient and primal within us.
Dakota right hand in the head.
The UFC had taken notice too. In a recent interview, Ditcheva revealed something that will blow your mind. "I heard a rumor that has already been asked for, and it was declined." She was referring to a trade offer. The UFC had proposed trading for her services, and the PFL turned them down flat. When pressed about why the trade fell apart, Ditcheva's response was telling. "I mean, would PFL want to let me go?"
They always shock us with like the most daftest matches. Like of all matches you think we could possibly lose, they always lose to the other ones.
Oh yeah, Crystal Palace FA Cup final. I mean, who could forget? We needed that one, by the way. I was rooting for Man City because if you guys would have won, that meant Forest gets Europa League, and now Crystal Palace wins somehow. I have no idea, shockingly. So then Palace got Europa League, and then we get Conference League, which is the shite one. But now something happened with some emails with Crystal Palace, and now they got dropped down and we got...
This puts everything into perspective. The UFC, the biggest MMA promotion in the world, wanted Dakota Ditcheva so badly they were willing to trade for her, just like they did when they sent Demetrius Johnson to one championship for Ben Askren back in 2018. Now here's where the story gets even more interesting, and why Ditcheva's decision might be more brilliant than anyone initially realized. In a detailed interview about her contract negotiations, Ditcheva revealed the real reason it took so long to re-sign, and it had nothing to do with money. "I know what I've brought to the table for the last 2 years. I stuck to everything that I said I was going to do. I won everything," she explained.
Because like you just said, you know, I know what I've brought to the table for the last 2 years. I stuck to everything that I said I was going to do. I won everything.
But here's the kicker. Ditcheva wasn't just negotiating for more money. She was negotiating for something much more valuable: guaranteed activity. "I wasn't going to settle," she said. "I'm not okay with sitting out for 8 months, and I'm not okay with sitting out for longer." The contract she eventually signed includes specific activity clauses that are almost unheard of in MMA. "I have dates in there now. I've got time limits where they need to keep me active," Ditcheva revealed. This means the PFL is contractually obligated to book her fights within specific time frames.
I think it's difficult, like I haven't really seen where the division's going. You know, I want to be somewhere that's active, and when you keep me out for 8 months, you're not giving me any confidence for me to be active. You know, I'm not okay with sitting out for 8 months, and I'm not okay for sitting out for longer. So I had to kind of sit down and get a plan with them and know that I'm going to be fighting and I'm not going to be out for another 8 months, which is now part of my contract. You know, I have dates in there now. I've got time limits where they need to keep me active.
The deal runs until 2027, and when asked about the exact terms, Ditcheva confirmed, "I have an agreement in there where they have to give me a certain number of fights in a certain amount of time.